Tragic news out of Denver today, as authorities have confirmed the death of the 17-year-old suspect in yesterday's school shooting. Austin Lyle was found dead in a remote mountain area of Park County, about 50 miles southwest of Denver. Lyle had been accused of opening fire on administrators during a routine safety check at East High School, leaving 2 wounded. One administrator has since been released from the hospital, while the other remains in serious condition. Law enforcement agencies, including the FBI, conducted an extensive search of the area, which led to the discovery of Lyle's body in the woods. The suspect had fled the school after the shooting, and his abandoned car was found nearby. East High School has canceled classes for the rest of the week and announced the addition of 2 armed officers stationed at the school through the end of the academic year. The shooting marks the 83rd on a K-12 school campus this year, and comes as student activists from March for Our Lives planned demonstrations across 5 U.S. state capitals to mark 5 years since the Parkland school shooting. Our thoughts are with the families of the wounded administrators and the entire community affected by this tragedy. We'll continue to monitor developments in this story as they unfold. Former President Donald Trump is facing multiple ongoing investigations that could result in criminal charges. These investigations include the Stormy Daniels hush money investigation, the Georgia 2020 election interference investigation, and a pair of investigations into Trump's actions around January 6 and his mishandling of classified documents by the U.S. Department of Justice. The possibility of criminal charges could have a dramatic effect on his 2024 campaign. Never before has a former president been charged with a crime. The active investigations have the potential to upend the 2024 presidential race, in which Trump has already announced his candidacy. Now, let's take a look at the brief descriptions of the ongoing investigations. The first investigation is the Stormy Daniels hush money investigation by the Manhattan District Attorney's Office. The grand jury is examining whether Trump committed a felony under New York state law by falsifying business records to cover up another crime like the violation of campaign finance laws with the hush money payment. The Georgia 2020 election interference investigation by the Fulton County District Attorney's Office centers on the actions of Trump and his allies in the weeks following the 2020 presidential election, as they pressured state officials to undo his loss in the state. The investigation is led by Fani Willis, the top prosecutor in Fulton County. The last pair of investigations by the U.S. Department of Justice are looking into Trump's actions around January 6 and his mishandling of classified documents. The investigations are being led by Special Counsel Jack Smith, who was appointed by Attorney General Merrick Garland last year. These investigations could result in Trump facing criminal charges, which could have a significant impact on his political career. We'll continue to keep you updated as more information becomes available. A historic meeting between Chinese President Xi Jinping and Russian President Vladimir Putin took place in Moscow last week. In their respective state newspapers, the 2 leaders published manifestos challenging the Western rules-based democratic order, signaling their strong anti-U.S. and anti-West sentiment. Xi and Putin plan to use the United Nations Security Council to push back against the U.S. and the West. They will continue opposing every major action on the Western agenda. China is already at war with America, and the Biden administration is ignoring the signposts. With the sanctions imposed on Russia, Beijing has been providing an economic lifeline to Moscow, importing Russian energy, which has helped Putin continue financing his war on Ukraine. The 2 leaders have signed 10 agreements lasting until 2030, which will increase economic cooperation between the 2 nations. This will cultivate Russia's dependence on China as Beijing seeks to expand its geopolitical and economic influence in Eurasia, enabling China's rise as the global center of gravity.